Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Katie. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. So this week I set out to make a bunch of cozy DIYs that are also boho inspired. This time of year especially, I'm all about making my home as cozy as possible, so that could be with twinkle lights or candles. I have like a million candles. I love them so much. So some of these were inspired by Anthropologie. You know, I love a good anthro DIY, and then some were just kind of out of my own head, but they turned out really cute. So I'm excited to share them with you. So let's get started. So I saw this gorgeous wreath on Anthropologie and I really wanted to recreate it using my own materials. Of course, it won't be exactly the same, but it's definitely inspired by it. So for mine, I'm using this gold hoop that I got on Amazon, as well as this cardstock that came in a pack on Amazon, and they had the exact colors that I was looking for, so I'll link everything down below as usual. I found the center point of the shorter side of the piece of paper and measured up about 4.5 inches and made a dot there. And then I drew just freehand from each corner to that point at the top that I had made. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you saw my paper palm leaf DIY a few weeks back, this is basically the same process, just making smaller palm leaves. So then I went ahead and cut out that shape and folded it in half. Then you can just go in and trim up any part that's uneven, so then it will be nice and symmetrical on each side. Once you've done that, you're going to start folding it in from the corner and then just basically fold it like an accordion or a paper fan, just flipping it over back and forth and making sure to keep the creases nice and crisp and the edges as even as possible. Once you reach the center point, you're just gonna go ahead and keep going and folding all the way to the other corner. Then you will be able to just open it up and have these cute little palm leaves. So I made a few and I tried to keep it similar to the wreath on Anthropologie. So I made 2 brown palm leaves, 1 pink one, and 1 green one. And this process definitely gets easier as you practice it, so in no time you'll be able to make a bunch. And then I just used some Scotch tape at the bottom to secure them, and it doesn't need to look pretty because I'm going to be covering it up with my florals, so I wasn't too worried about that. Then I went ahead and just kind of laid them out on my gold hoop before gluing them down, just so I could play around with it and see what I wanted it to look like. Next, I went in with my hot glue gun and just glued each one down one at a time and pressed it there until it was fully dry to make sure that it won't fall off. And then I had some dried bunny tail grass, so I just kind of glued it on top of the paper palm leaves wherever I wanted, and you can just have fun with this and play around with it. I also had these really pretty dried white florals that I thought were gorgeous and really completed the look. I love how simple and beautiful this is and very cozy. So like I mentioned before, you know I love candles right now, so I had this glass jar that I've had for years and I thought it would be perfect, as well as this terracotta chalk paint that I got on Amazon. It is my favorite right now, so I added a little bit of baking soda to it to give it some texture, and then I just went ahead and started painting my glass jar. I'm gonna give it one light coat just to cover the entire thing. Then you'll wanna let it dry in between coats, so it takes like 20 minutes to half an hour to really dry fully, and then go ahead and add another coat. I think I did 3 coats total to give it some really nice coverage and texture. While that was drying, I melted my wax. So this is soy wax. I got it on Amazon, and for reference, I think I used about half of the bag for this pretty big candle. So I just created a double boiler situation with some water in the pot underneath and the wax in this measuring cup, a glass measuring cup on top, until it was fully melted. And then I added a bunch of drops of one of my favorite essential oils. You can do any type of essential oil that you want, whatever scent that you like for the season that you're in. Then I gave it a good stir, and I'm using these wood wicks, which I think are really cool. And again, I got them on Amazon, as usual, no big surprise. So I basically like to dip the base of it into the wax instead of gluing it down. So I put 2 of the wicks in each base because they said that would help it to burn better. I dipped it in the wax and then I just pressed it down and held it there until the wax dried. And now your wicks are gonna be stuck to the bottom of the jar for when you pour your wax in. So then I just slowly poured the wax into my candle and I used the perfect amount. It filled it right up to where I wanted it to be. So then you're gonna wanna let that cool completely so that it will harden, and then you can go ahead and trim the wicks. And I decided to add a little bit of embellishment. So as you can see, there were some blank spaces with my paint here that were a bit lighter, but I wasn't worried about it because I knew I was gonna cover it up. So I got this fringe and then I just glued it right to the top of the jar. And I think this looks really pretty, just gives it that boho vibe on top of the terracotta textured paint. And you can do 1 or 2 rows of it, whatever you like. I kind of liked the 2 rows. It made it feel a little more boho, but as always, you can personalize this. And this is so fun, cozy, and smells amazing. I also wanted to mention that I do have a blog as well, and I specifically have been sharing so many fun posts lately with my favorite home decor and fall must-haves for the season, and I do this throughout the entire year, so it's all of my Amazon favorites, Target decor, and I do tons of roundups with the best decor that I find at great prices. So if you guys are interested in that, you can head over to my blog as well. It's always linked down below in my description box, and I hope you enjoy it. Lastly, I wanted to create some canvas art, so I kind of created this little compass type thing here and just drew a half circle on the bottom of my canvas. And then I used the leftover paint from the candle because I had a pretty good amount left and I didn't want to waste it. So I went ahead and painted this half circle, and to me it kind of reminded me of a sunset or a sunrise. So I thought this would be really pretty, but instead of drawing on the rays of the sun, I thought I could use this dried wheat instead, and that would be really cool. So I just cut them to the length that I wanted them to be according to the size of my canvas, and then I hot glued them and tried to keep them evenly spaced, and I thought this looked really nice. I decided to add a few more shorter pieces in between the longer ones, and that is all you have to do. It's super simple, but looks really, really pretty. So I hope you guys have a great week ahead. If you try out any of these DIYs, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I love it when you guys tag me in your DIYs that you make that are inspired by my projects. It seriously makes my heart so happy. So keep on doing that. And I hope that these DIYs help you guys have a cozy time this season. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video.